SEO metadata, best practices for rankings in 2025. SEO metadata in 2025, why it's now a revenue lever. In 2025, SEO metadata isn't just technical SEO, it's frontline positioning. Organic search still accounts for roughly 46.98% of global website traffic in recent research, and other datasets put organic at about 53% of total traffic on average. When nearly half your potential inbound pipeline enters through a search results page, your titles, descriptions, and structured data become sales copy. This matters even more in B2B because buyers research before they ever respond to outbound. About 66% of B2B buyers use search engines to research products, and roughly 61% prefer a rep-free buying experience, meaning your snippet and landing page often do the persuading before an SDR gets a chance. Whether you're a sales outsourcing team, an SDR agency, or a product-led B2B SaaS, your first impression is usually the SERP. At SalesHive, we treat metadata as pipeline infrastructure, not a finishing touch. When we run outbound for clients, everything from cold email agency programs to cold calling services, we assume prospects will Google the brand, compare vendors, and scan titles for credibility and fit. If your metadata doesn't match the promise of your outreach, you create friction right at the moment intent is highest. How buyers search and why snippets win or lose the click. Rankings get you seen, but snippets get you chosen. Click distribution is ruthless. One benchmark shows the #1 organic result earning around 28.5% of clicks, and another estimate attributes about 67.6% of organic clicks to the top 5 results. That means good enough titles and vague descriptions don't just cost traffic, they cost market share for high-intent queries like pricing, comparisons, and best vendor searches. This is where B2B metadata becomes qualification, not just promotion. A precise title that signals who it's for, industry, size, use case, attracts buyers who can actually become opportunities, and it repels the wrong clicks that inflate sessions but never convert. In practice, that's how you turn a generic visit into a booked meeting, especially for categories like outbound sales agency services, B2B cold calling services, and SDR outsourcing, where trust and fit matter immediately. AI-driven research is amplifying the stakes. Around 47% of B2B buyers use AI tools for market research and discovery, so your page signals need to work for both classic searchers and AI systems that summarize, extract, and compare. Clean titles, relevant on-page headings, and structured data increase the odds that your brand is selected as a source, whether the buyer clicks or not. A revenue-first metadata strategy. Prioritize what actually drives pipeline. The biggest metadata mistake we see is treating optimization like a site-wide copy project. In B2B, the fastest wins come from prioritization. Start with the 20 to 50 URLs most tied to opportunities, product pages, pricing, comparison pages, core solution pages, and a handful of high-intent blogs. If those pages improve click-through rate and conversion rate, leadership feels the impact without waiting for a full SEO overhaul. Run a quick audit focused on outcomes, not perfection. Flag titles that are duplicated, overly long, or brand first when they should be buyer first. Flag descriptions that are missing, generic, or misaligned with intent. And look for pages that should have schema but don't. We also recommend pulling the money pages directly from your CRM and analytics so you're not guessing which URLs deserve attention. Then create templates that scale. Because Google rewrites an estimated 60 to 70% of meta descriptions, the goal isn't handcrafted poetry. It's consistent intent alignment and clear value propositions that still make sense if a snippet is partially replaced. A small set of reusable patterns, problem, solution, comparison, pricing, case study, helps teams update faster while keeping copy buyer-centric and unique enough to avoid duplication. Title tags that earn clicks from the right accounts. Treat every title tag like a one-line sales pitch with a keyword anchor. In 2025, think in pixels and readability, but the practical target still lands around 45 to 65 characters for many B2B pages. What matters most is front-loading the primary keyword, stating the buyer outcome, and adding a qualifier that signals fit, industry, persona, or use case, so you attract the right accounts, not just more impressions. Strong titles often follow a simple logic: problem, outcome, category. For example, instead of cold calling agency brand, a title that signals value and specificity is more likely to win the click for an evaluation stage search. Cold calling agency for B2B teams that need more qualified meetings. If SalesHive or another brand belongs in the title, it typically works best at the end, so the value proposition remains visible even when truncation happens. Avoid the classics that quietly kill performance: keyword stuffing, vague claims, best, leading, with no proof, and titles that don't match the page's actual intent. If the query is transactional, pricing, demo, comparison, the title should respect that and be direct. If the query is educational, it should promise clarity and a next step. That alignment is how you earn clicks that convert, especially in competitive categories like sales outsourcing, outsourced sales team solutions, and B2B sales agency services. Your snippet isn't there to get traffic. It's there to pre-sell the right buyer and make the click feel inevitable. Meta descriptions, schema, and rich results that feed humans and AI. Meta descriptions don't directly raise rankings, but they strongly influence click-through rate and qualification, and they often function like a mini CTA. Aim for roughly 120 to 155 characters of crisp, buyer-facing copy that completes the searcher's thought: what this page is, who it's for, and what to do next. Even knowing Google rewrites descriptions frequently, clean, intent-aligned copy increases the odds your snippet reads well when it's used, and it provides better on-page context when it's not. Structured data, schema, is the other half of the modern snippet strategy. FAQ, how-to, organization, product, and review schema can improve eligibility for rich results and can help AI systems interpret entities, relationships, and key claims. For B2B, schema is especially valuable on objection-heavy pages: pricing, implementation, security, integrations, because it makes your answers easier to extract and surface when buyers are in compare and decide mode. Use the table below as a practical starting point for what good looks like on the pages that matter most to revenue teams, including pages that support outbound efforts from cold callers, SDR teams, and B2B cold calling services. Common challenges and how B2B teams fix them without boiling the ocean. Most teams don't fail because they don't know best practices. They fail because they can't execute consistently. The most common operational issues are duplicated titles across similar pages, missing or templated descriptions that say nothing, and metadata that doesn't reflect today's positioning after a pricing change or ICP shift. These are small details that compound into lost clicks, lower trust, and weaker conversion rates. The fix is a lightweight system. Build 3 to 5 meta description templates aligned to intent, then customize the variable parts: industry, proof, differentiator, next step. For example, comparison pages should read like a fair evaluation. Pricing pages should reduce uncertainty quickly, and case study pages should highlight outcomes with specificity. This approach scales across a large site without turning every update into a one-off copywriting project. Another recurring challenge is message mismatch between marketing and sales. If your outreach promises book more meetings in 30 days, but your snippet reads like generic corporate branding, you create doubt at the exact moment buyers validate you. We recommend integrating SEO metadata into outbound planning so landing page titles and descriptions mirror the promise in your cold email agency campaigns, telemarketing follow-ups, and outbound sales agency sequences. Measurement and iteration. Turn metadata into an experiment engine. You don't need to guess whether metadata changes worked. You can measure it. Start in Google Search Console. Track impressions, average position, and CTR for each priority URL. Then compare 4 to 8 weeks before and after each update. Because the top results capture a disproportionate share of clicks, even modest CTR lifts can produce meaningful increases in qualified traffic and demos when your pages already rank on page 1. Next, tie search outcomes to revenue outcomes. In a B2B funnel, the goal isn't more sessions, it's more qualified meetings and opportunities. Logging changes alongside CRM conversion rates helps you prove ROI and prioritize what to optimize next, especially for high-intent pages that support higher SDRs, sales development agency, B2B sales outsourcing, and best cold calling services type searches. This is also where sales and marketing alignment stops being a slogan and becomes a workflow. A quarterly SEO X sales session can review top queries, CTR outliers, and real objection language pulled from call transcripts. When you iterate titles and descriptions using the words buyers actually say, you improve qualification and trust, two levers that matter as much as rankings in competitive SERPs. What to do next? A practical 2025 playbook for B2B teams. Start with a fast, revenue-driven audit. Pull the top 50 pages tied to opportunities. Then rewrite titles and descriptions around intent, outcomes, and qualifiers. You'll often find the quickest wins on product, pricing, and comparison pages, especially if your current metadata is brand first, vague, or outdated relative to how your team sells today. Then add structured data where it supports real buyer questions. If your prospects routinely ask about timelines, security, integrations, or pricing logic, consider FAQ or how-to schema on the pages that answer those objections. This improves your chances of rich results and AI visibility at the moment buyers are looking for concrete answers, not marketing language. Finally, operationalize the work so it stays current. SEO remains a reliable growth lever. One survey found 91% of practitioners said SEO positively impacted performance and marketing goals. So treat metadata like living sales copy, not a set-and-forget checklist. When your positioning shifts, your outbound messaging evolves, or your market language changes, your titles, descriptions, and schema should update in lockstep so search supports the same story your SDRs and AEs tell.